Welcome to our city, and here's what's going on this week around our city. On Friday, October 14th at 10 a.m., Mayor Bowles will attend Estuary Day at the Peterstown Community Center located at 408 Palmer Street. As a part of the event, students from Elizabeth will learn more about the relationship of our local and regional clean water issues to our land use. The workshop is sponsored by the City of Elizabeth, Private and Public Schools, J. Christian Bowles Mayor, City of Elizabeth, the Elizabeth Marina, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. EPA and Harbor Estuary Program, Kean University, U.S. Senator Robert Menendez, Congressman Donald Payne, and Congressman Albie Osiris, and New York and New Jersey Baykeeper. On Saturday, October 15th at 11 a.m., Mayor Bowles will attend the National Latino AIDS Awareness Day. At this event, Proceed Incorporated, along with other agencies and community stakeholders, will provide the Elizabeth community with a health fair titled the Fall Festival. There will be free health screenings, free giveaway, games, snacks, and food. Following that event at 1 p.m., Mayor Bowles will attend the Hispanic Heritage Program, which will be held on the front steps of City Hall. The event will feature cultural dancing and singing groups who represent 21 Latin American countries. If you need more information concerning this or any other events this week, please call the Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. On Friday, October 14th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., Elizabeth is partnering with Future City Incorporated to welcome school science students for a day of environmental education at the 9th Annual Estuary Day event. Today, Lisa Barron, Chief of Harbor Programs for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Pedro Cruz, a Future City Incorporated trustee, McNair Scholar, and an engineering student at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. And in the second segment, Debbie Manns from the New York, New Jersey Baykeeper organization will help us understand estuaries and give us more information on the upcoming event. John Dobashevitz of Kean University will not be on the show this year due to previous university commitments. However, he will be representing Kean at the opening ceremonies. So at this time, I want to welcome both Lisa Barron. How are you, Lisa?
Very well, thank you.
And also Mr. Pedro Cruz.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Pedro, this is your first time on the show.
Yes, it is.
Lisa's been here probably more than I have, so if you need any instructions, just follow Lisa's lead.
Okay. We'll do.
And make sure you say hello to John for me. I miss him being on the show and everything, so he's like a regular here.
Yes, it is.
So once again, welcome to you both. And Pedro, my initial question is, what is the National Estuary Program?
Well, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency National Estuary Program was first established by Congress in 1987 to improve the quality of estuaries of national importance. The Clean Water Act, Section 320, directs the U.S. EPA to develop plans for attaining or maintaining water quality in our estuary. This includes protection of public water supplies and the protection and propagation of balanced additional population of shellfish, fish, and wildlife, and allows recreational activities in and on the water, and also requires that the control of point and non-point sources of pollution supplement existing controls of pollution. In several cases, more than one state is participating in a national estuary program, and each program establishes a comprehensive conservation and management plan to meet the goals of Section 320. The national estuary programs have succeeded because, one, they focus on the watershed, two, they use science to inform decision-making, and emphasize collaborative problem solving, and four, they involve the public.
That's a lot. Now, Lisa, why is all that important nationally, regionally, and also here to the City of Elizabeth?
Well, with the National Estuary Program, I guess a year after it was established, the two governors named this an estuary of national significance, along with some other things that have occurred since then, where prioritizing the Hudson-Raritan Estuary as a priority ecosystem for the Corps. It's been recently designated as Great Waters from the Great Waters Campaign. And I think that all the agencies that are involved that came together from that designation, the Harbor Estuary Program, which is administered by the EPA, they basically brought all of the federal, state, and local agencies together so that we can advance the improvement of this estuary and so that we can restore it. And I know you had mentioned the comprehensive conservation plan that was established, and that had a recommendation in it that said we need to look at the estuary as a whole from a regional perspective. And so that restoration part of it, I'm going to talk a little bit later about our comprehensive restoration plan, but all the agencies are working together to advance that program. And just last week, we all had everyone, we took everyone out on the harbor to really talk about advancing the restoration together so that we can not only basically fulfill the importance, and especially since it's such an urbanized environment for so many thousands and thousands of people, especially locally here in the center of the estuary, which makes it so much more of a critical resource to advance.
Now, Pedro, what is an estuary?
An estuary is basically a body of water where you have fresh water, such as rivers and streams, and they meet with the seawater. So what's important about them is the fact that this creates a unique environment for organisms that you won't normally see in either freshwater or seawater environments. They're also critical to the health of coastal environments, from spawning grounds for fish and to the enjoyment of them through fishing and boating.
Now, why would an estuary be important to us?
Well, I think aside from the habitat that's provided for all of the organisms that are there, since it's one of the most productive ecosystems in the world, the wetlands that are associated with an estuary are really critical, and that's one of the main reasons why we're trying to advance the restoration of those wetlands that have been so lost in this area. But they provide not only habitat for spawning grounds, but as well as stabilization for the shoreline, so it's protecting our real estate and shore structures, which is so important for the people that live there, as well as serving as a filtration unit. So the vegetation that's there, all of the overland runoff with all of our development in this estuary, we have all the contamination and surface and a lot of sediments that end up getting trapped within the wetland that basically cleans the water, and it's going to improve the water quality within the estuary as well. In addition, from this estuary's perspective, being the third largest port in the East Coast and the largest in the United States, I think this estuary provides tremendous valuable infrastructure for the port of New York and New Jersey, and over 225,000 jobs, as well as $20 billion in revenue for both the state of New Jersey and New York. And so, with that, along with our fishing industry, and all those valuable resources, all of those functions really make an estuary very important.
Okay. Now, Pedro, when we talk about Elizabeth, we come to waters like the Elizabeth River and Arthur Kill. Can you describe how the Elizabeth River and Arthur Kill, in terms of how it relates to an estuary?
Yes. The Arthur Kill is actually 10 miles. It's a channel of water that's 10 miles long, and it begins at the Newark Bay on the north side, where you have the Passaic River dumping in, and then it ends on the south end by the Raritan Bay. The Kill in Arthur Kill, as I mentioned before, it actually stands for water channel. On the New Jersey side, there's a lot of industries, but on the opposite end, Staten Island, you have a lot of marshes. So you have more of a concern there for the environment there.
Now, the role of the corpse on the Elizabeth River and the Arthur Kill watershed. Can you discuss that, please?
Sure. I think in the Arthur Kill and the KVK right now, we have a variety of missions that the Corps is involved with. First, and probably most well-known mission, aside from the restoration aspects, is the navigational program. We've been deepening the channels for quite a long time, and we're actually coming to a close on the 50-foot deepening. And so we're dredging in the lower part of Newark Bay and the top of the Arthur Kill. And so getting those ships in to bring valuable resources to the New York container terminal, as well as getting to Port Newark and Elizabeth. So we have the navigation program going on. We're also involved in a lot of environmental Superfund type activity in the area. Our environmental program, there's a variety of sites that we're involved with. Probably the most well-known that we're providing oversight and integration. We work with EPA on the Newark Bay Superfund site, but the Corps is providing oversight on the Tierra removal action up in the Passaic River. So that is actually starting to take out the highest contaminated dioxin. But as you mentioned about the wetlands and the amount of habitat that's here in the Arthur Kill and all those watersheds, we've got 3 water bird islands that are right outside the door: Prawls, Isle of Meadows, and as well as shooters, which are great habitat, as well as 30,000 acres of open space, which you never know that really in this highly urbanized environment,
Yeah.
you'd end up having that kind of open space and a lot of wetland habitat. And so I think there's a lot of restoration opportunities that could be capitalized on, and especially since it is so urbanized, and this is a lot of industries lining the river. We have an opportunity to clean up the sediments and restore the water quality and the sediment quality, and as well as improve public access and wetlands.
Okay. We're going to take a brief break and we'll be back with the second half of the show, so don't move. We'll be back with the second half of Our City after these words. Thank you.